All right, just to confirm, I've muted everybody and we will do a Q&A afterwards. This is actually about an aspect of water that I hadn't really come in contact with until it hit me in the head like a 2x4. I had actually started to lose my hair and we couldn't figure out why. And we had tried a bunch of different things. And as I started to do the research, we ended up trying a specific shower unit at a friend's house. It was on a well, and I thought that was odd. And he said, "No, this makes it like those magic Japanese hot springs." And I was like, "Sure, whatever. I'll be glad to." But I didn't know, and maybe you didn't know, that if you take a shower, you take in a bath or a hot tub or a swimming pool or something like that, for 15 minutes, you absorb as much chlorine through your skin as if you drank a whole quart of that exact same water. I didn't know that. And actually, I was stunned when I found out. And I started to test it on myself. And I've actually, many of you have probably already watched the little chlorine demo where it shows how fast it absorbed into your skin. Found it amazing. And considering the body is 72% water, it really wants to reach an equilibrium with whatever substance it's in. If there's a lot of chlorine or salts or whatever, your body literally will absorb that through the skin. Um, and like I said, I had discovered electrolyzed reduced water. Many of you have heard Skylar's story, how she was born in '09. She had gastroschisis, which is she was literally born inside out. That picture right there at the top is the day she was born, just a few minutes later. And the good news is that's Skylar today as well. But she suffered from acute dehydration syndrome and it nearly killed her, destroyed me. I mean, it just was unreal. My family, our kids were pulled out of sports, our businesses suffered. And it really, the impact was unreal because she suffered from acute dehydration. And we actually found that in using different types of water, she could actually absorb that water through her skin and it literally helped save her life. That water is called electrolyzed reduced water. And it really is, scientifically speaking, the best water you can possibly put in your body. You can look it up, you can Google it, you can research it. It's water that's been struck by lightning or a high level of electricity, and it blows the bonds apart. It creates hydrogen, oxygen, hydroxide, all that good stuff. Anything else that you're going to try and drink, you're welcome to it, but it's really not quite the same quality. We ended up doing a bunch of research. We found out that it was involved with cancer, with diabetes. Obviously, the gastrointestinal pair was a big deal for us. And obviously, there was a healing mechanism. It helped with the nervous system and whatnot. And that's when we really started to look into the effects of water, but we couldn't figure out what was going on. And like I said, when you take a shower, you absorb a lot of chlorine. And as I started to look into it, I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense because the skin is actually the largest organ in the body. It's actually your connection to your environment. If you're in water, you're actually absorbing all that water. If you're in a public pool, the hot tub, if you've ever walked into the jacuzzi at we used to go to the gym and work out a lot, and it was always like get in the hot tub. I didn't realize how much chlorine you absorb, and it's a protective mechanism, but it's also extremely sensitive. And when you get something around the follicles of your hair, it'll actually drive it down deep into your skin, and it can affect your sebaceous glands, but can also affect your thyroid, your thymus, really stress your endocrine system. That was an issue that I was having. It was because it was affecting my thyroid. Now everybody worries about chlorine, whether it's in their water or their drinking water, but nobody really thinks about the bathing water or putting it in the pool. It's just what you do. But here's the reality. If you have a thyroid issue, an endocrine stress issue, or a health issue, bathing in chlorinated water is one of the worst things you can do, whether it's a pool, a hot tub, your shower. And the reason being is chlorine belongs to a family of chemicals called halogens. That's where you get your fluorines, your bromines, your chlorines, all that. And what they do is they compete for the binding site, specifically in the thyroid, which affects your immune system, your metabolism, your energy, your weight, things like that. And so when you stress the thyroid, you actually start to stress the adrenal glands, you stress the thymus, you stress the pancreas, you stress the adrenals. All these things come into play, and it can really wreak havoc with your body from an endocrine standpoint. It's easily one of the most overlooked health concerns that we have when we talk to people. And it's, it's not anybody's real fault because it really is everywhere. It's in our tap water, it's in our bath water, showers, pools. Like I said, the scary part is if you actually rinse your food off in tap water, it actually absorbs straight into your fruits and veggies. You cook it into your pasta. It's amazing where it ends up. When we started to test people with our bioscans, we were finding a lot of chlorine toxicity, and it's because people are literally everywhere in it. Many of you have seen the chlorine absorption test. If you haven't, it's on YouTube. I actually do a test where I have tap water and I do one where I stick my fingers in it, wait 60 seconds, and you can literally see all the chlorine is gone. Highly recommend you watch it. You'll like it. It will really explain a lot. But what I wanted to touch base on, and part of the reason you're here, is because of the bathing. Now, it would be really nice if we could all just jump on a plane and fly to Japan and get sit in one of their onsens. That's one of their really fancy hot springs, because we saw Last Samurai and he's like nearly died, and he jumps in there and he feels real good, and then he's ready to go back and fight. And there's a lot of that mystery of the healing spas and the fountain of youth, et cetera, et cetera. And the reality is there's a lot of truth to that. There's something that is called an onsen in Japan, and that actually means hot spring. It has a very, very strict regulation of what it does. They actually started to use legal ramifications for what defines a hot spring and an onsen. And they have to be at a certain temperature. They have to have a certain level of minerals. They have to have all these different things because they do actually have legitimate health benefits. And when I say legitimate health benefits, I mean literally to the point that they are regulated by the Ministry of Health. If they're tested several times a year, they have to maintain mineral contents, they need to maintain concentrations, they need to maintain temperatures. And it's literally because they have been clinically proven to become a medical hot spring, which means it has legitimate pharmacological health benefits that help with a variety of conditions. The #1 hot spring in the world is actually in Hokkaido. It's actually literally registered as the #1 hot spring health resort. It's been operating for over 300 years, and it's in Futamata. And again, it's heavily regulated by the Ministry of Health in Japan. It's kind of the standard by which they judge all the other onsens and hot springs. And it's extremely protected because it's considered a natural treasure, which I thought was interesting. Now, one of the things that's in this is what's called a radium tufa mineral, and it's volcanic in nature, in the fact that that's where they get all their minerals and their concentrations and limestone that dissolves into the hot tubs that creates this healing benefit. You can look it up online. It's really cool. We had the opportunity to go to an onsen when we were in Japan back in 2013. It wasn't this one, but it would have been really fun if it was. But here's the fact. It not only just feels good because you're soaking in a hot tub. Anybody can soak in a hot tub and go, yeah, it feels great. But when you get into a hot spring that is qualified as an onsen by Japanese law, you're actually running into a mineral content that actually feeds the skin and feeds the body and actually starts to repair the body from the inside out. It can detoxify, it can add minerals, it can replace electrolytes. It's really quite fascinating once you start to realize it's not just bathing, it is its own art form. When you start to look into it, one of the things that the Ministry of Health regulates, a couple of probably your top 5 or 6, sulfur, copper, radium, carbon dioxide, which I thought was interesting, sodium bicarbonate, the chloride ions, and silica. And they all have a different purpose, from dry skin, dermatitis, eczema, anemia, constipation, blood pressure. All these things are actually improved, clinically tested with trials to improve when you get into these hot springs. And like I said, their potency to heal is pretty amazing. When you get into the concept of what are all the different ways, well, there's the elements, there's the heat. One of the interesting things was the buoyancy. It decompresses when you're just floating there. It changes the hydrodynamic pressure in the body, increasing blood flow, gets your lymph going, takes the stress away. And sometimes it's as simple as changing the environment. For me personally, when I soak in a hot tub or the onsen or whichever, it reduces the electromagnetic stress for me because I'm really sensitive. Many of you have seen the Q-link that I wear. So it really has an insulating effect and highly beneficial. Besides, let's just face it, the monkeys look happy. As I was talking about, they have a very regimented, strict regulations that they use to quantify these things. And they literally have research on thyroid issues, cancer, rashes, eczema, psoriasis. If you look at that bottom left corner there, the bald guy, that was me 10 years ago. It's all back. And that's actually when I discovered the Anespa, which is the Japanese onsen that you can put in your home. And my wife did it actually for her skin because she had adult onset acne. And it's really been amazing what we've discovered with it and had. And again, it's the onsen, it's the Anespa, it's an onsen system for daily spa use. What they've done is they've gone in and they've mined the tufa minerals. They got the mineral rights and they're allowed to mine these. And they actually took these in ceramic cartridges, as you can see here. And what they do is it's double filtered. It removes everything from like halogens, trimethyl chlorides, and then it goes through, changes the charge on the water, hits it with these minerals, and you literally have this in your home. You can bathe in it, you can shower in it. It is a night and day difference between what my wife's skin looked like and hair looked like before. The girls love it for their hair. It's really quite amazing. Like I said, it's got that filter. Trihalomethanes are the outgassings that you get from when you mix the different chemicals in a municipal water supply. Phenols, obviously it removes chlorine. If you look right here, this is the ceramic cartridge. This is a dirty, ready to be replaced filter that was coming out of the unit. And here's a new one that they're getting ready to replace it with. It's phenomenal, works really, really well. It changes the structure of the water and ionizes it with what's called neodymium magnets. If you've ever played with one, they're those rare earth, they like really, really hold tight. They're kind of fun to play with. And so that's what really makes this unique. It is literally a Japanese hot spring that you can have in your home, use it every day. It is the only one of its kind in the world. So if you've got any endocrine issues, health issues, thyroid issues, skin issues, hair loss, that's one of the things that we always recommend to our clients is like, you know, you're 72% water. We've got you drinking the best water possible. Now here's the next thing you can do. What are you bathing in? What does it look like? What's it doing to your skin? What's it doing to your body? Some of our clients obviously have been saying my skin's never felt better. And that's just a fact because the water's been restructured. It's ionized. It's got all these incredible minerals. It makes your skin really, really healthy and you don't get like that ashen, dried out look. Abby will tell you straight up that her skin is so much better than it used to be. My hair was an issue. Definitely have more energy because when you actually shut down the thyroid with chlorine, you actually get exhausted and tired because the thyroid helps to produce energy. And so there you have it. Lots of interesting things that our people are saying and doing. So if you really want to bathe in something like this every single day in your own home, get back in touch with the person that sent this to you. We can chat. If you've got some health issues, we can set you up with a bioscan if you need to. But, you know, when you get into the water, you get into the shower units, you're really, really addressing the 75% of you that's water, not just the 25% that's all the stuff you eat and do and sleep and exercise, nutrition. All that adds up to the 75% that's not water. So get back in touch with the person that sent this to you.